Do you believe wholeheartedly that JayZ your father?
I really do. And if it's not, why you can't prove me wrong? Like it's not far as a proving me wrong thing. It's go to the courtroom and basically do what everybody else would have to do.
Are you scared for your life? It's unfortunate that you were shot at. I'm glad that you were okay from that. Do you think that was a situation where you were targeted? And if so, are you scared for your life?
No, I'm not scared for my life. I mean, it was a scary situation.
I'm not pointing no fingers. I'm just asking everybody, all the judges or anybody who's working on the case to do what's right and do their job the correct way, even if you overlook something or didn't see something. Everybody makes mistakes, as I said before, but it's time to actually do your job and look at everything and get it correct.
A judge hit JayZ with a court order to take a paternity test. And not even 2 days later, bullets tore through the car of the man claiming to be his son. This wasn't some random drive-by, it was a warning shot.
I was 7. My mom had to sit down with me. I guess she thought I was old enough to know now. And she been saying, Sean Carter, that's what she was calling him at first before she was calling it JayZ. And I really didn't know who that was because I was young and, had my little brother and I really wasn't worrying about it. She was saying it a lot, but I really just was going along with the person I was just seeing, like the person I looked at who was taking care of me at that time. I really wasn't really trying to understand what my mom was talking about, but she constantly put it in my head like, son, it's not your father, and I really want you to know it is. This person is your father.
The message? Stay quiet or else. And don't get it twisted. This ain't just hood gossip. This is a full-blown legal war mixed with big money, big names, and a billion-dollar image that cannot afford to crack. Let's rewind to 1992. The streets say Hav allegedly messed around with a 16-year-old girl named Wanda Satterthwaite.
We didn't have enough information to keep the case going, so it was a big case to me because, I really wanted to find out who my father was, and for the case not to go how I was planning it, I really thought it was going to go different than what it was, but I really feel like it should have been over with because, I feel like if it was anybody else, I'm not saying this because people got higher standards or people make more money than that, but it's just different because, if it was anybody else that made a low income, I feel like they would have had them in there way faster than people that's wealthy.
But around Philly, folks knew her as Precious. They had a quick fling, supposedly protected, but things didn't go as planned. Wanda later claimed the condom broke, and boom, she was pregnant. From there, her life turned into a war zone, and Jay, he ghosted. No social media, no way to reach him, no entourage to trace, just silence.
Yeah. Are you scared for your life? It's unfortunate that you were shot at. I'm glad that you were okay from that. Do you think that was a situation where you were targeted? And if so, are you scared for your life?
No, I'm not scared for my life. I mean, it was a scary situation. It was a scary situation, but it's just unfortunate. I'm from North Philadelphia. I'm not saying I got nothing to do with it, but I saw a gunshot. I heard gunshots and just saw crazy shit before. So, but it definitely was a scary situation because I never been through it. I barely come outside and I stay to myself. So it's like,
She never saw him again, and she was still just a teen when she gave birth. While Wanda was lying unconscious in the hospital, her then-boyfriend Robert Graves signed the birth certificate. Folks close to Wanda say he knew that baby wasn't his, but signed anyway, just to collect a few extra food stamps. Yeah, the system played its part too. Now here's where it gets real deep. When her son Rymir turned 8, Wanda sat him down and dropped the truth. JayZ is your father. No hesitation, no change in her story. She stuck to that for years.
Do you believe wholeheartedly that JayZ your father?
I really do. And if it's not, why you can't prove me wrong? Like it's not far as a proving me wrong thing. It's go to the courtroom and basically do what everybody else would have to do.
Yeah. Are you scared for your life? It's unfortunate that you were shot at. I'm glad that you were okay from that. Do you think that was a situation where you were targeted? And if so, are you scared for your life?
No, I'm not scared for my life. I mean, it was a scary situation.
I'm not pointing no fingers. I'm just asking everybody, all the judges or anybody who's working on the case to do what's right and do their job the correct way, even if you overlook something or didn't see something. Everybody makes mistakes, as I said before, but it's time to actually do your job and look at everything and get it correct.
She begged Hav to just take a test, said they could keep it private, quiet, no headlines, but Jay never replied. Wanda didn't just fight, she scrapped her way through a legal nightmare. She hit dead ends, got hit with denied motions, had lawyers vanish on her, and judges straight up told her she was wasting everyone's time. But when she felt her health slipping and knew she might not make it through, she did something bold, something that would speak long after she was gone.
I was 7. My mom had to sit down with me. I guess she thought I was old enough to know now. And she been saying Sean Carter, that's what she was calling him at first before she was calling it JayZ. And I really didn't know who that was because I was young and, you know, had my little brother and I really wasn't worrying about it. She was saying it a lot, but I really just was going along with the person I was just seeing, like the person I looked at who was taking care of me at that time. I really wasn't really trying to understand what my mom was talking about, but she constantly put it in my head like, son, it's not your father, and I really want you to know it is. This person is your father.
She signed a sworn affidavit, officially naming JayZ as her son's father. In 2019, Wanda passed away from heart failure, but before she died, she told Rymir to never give up. The truth will come out, no matter what. That was her last message to him.
Somewhere in September, he was in the parking lot with other people near where he's at living now. And out of all the cars there, his was the only one shot up. So we believe that was a nexus or a connection, I believe, between the case and what's going on because it was around the time. In addition to that, we've had people come to my home in the past, driving on the grass. We have people knocking on the door at 4 o'clock in the morning. We've been through all of it, mostly around the filing time. So this is a bigger picture than this. We want to try to make a difference with the Pro Se Act or the Legal Abuse Act, bringing new legislation and trying to sit down at the table with the lawmakers to make a difference.
And let's be clear, Wanda wasn't chasing clout. She didn't want headlines. She wanted her son to know where he came from. Now Rymir's grown, and he's on a mission to finish what his mom started. In 2014, he filed a civil paternity lawsuit against JayZ, this time with backup, his godmother and legal guardian, Lily Coley, who stood by him ever since Wanda's health began to fall apart. And that's when the situation turned dark, like real shady. JayZ didn't handle this like any other man would. His legal squad allegedly cooked up a scheme full of stalling tactics, twisted facts, and slick distractions, all to avoid doing one thing, taking a DNA test. Just a simple swab. That's it.
We're saying that she's a big part of the problems for him, and some of the things that she was doing, a woman would not, she would have some sort of role in what her husband does. And if she was secure with herself and with the situation, not saying you gotta like it, she would help her husband handle it.
But instead, his team allegedly tried to outsmart the system. Here's the setup. Rymir and Lily filed in New Jersey because that's where the alleged hookup happened and where JayZ supposedly owned property. That gave the court power to force a paternity test, or so they thought. But JayZ's lawyers hit back with a legal curveball that changed the whole game. JayZ's legal team pulled a slick one. They claimed he didn't live in New Jersey, so the court had no authority over him.
Everybody makes mistakes, as I said before, but it's time to actually do your job and look at everything and get it correct, because you cannot use fraud to continue anything in this world. You can't use fraud to help you get forward in life. Then try to continue on your fraud or continue using fraud to get forward in life, and the courts just let you do that. That's unconstitutional, and I think we should really be looking to fix that problem.
But here's the kicker. There's paperwork showing otherwise. Property records, tax filings, even business documents tied to JayZ all point to him having multiple connections to Jersey. Still, his lawyers allegedly slid in a New York address to make the case vanish. And just like that, case dismissed. But it didn't end there. According to Lily, things took a sinister turn. She says that while Wanda was hospitalized, fresh out of a coma, barely conscious, JayZ's legal team allegedly showed up with legal documents for her to sign. She was still sedated, barely aware of what was happening, and they allegedly had her sign away key rights.
It's crazy. It really is crazy. These judges, these lawyers, this fraud, this collusion, who knows what it's for, money or friendships or whatever they got going on. But I can honestly say that we should never go in the courtroom feeling like we're already the victims and we did nothing wrong. We did nothing wrong but come in here, tell you guys the truth, put our life on the line.
She had no idea what she was agreeing to. That one move flipped everything. Suddenly, JayZ's team had the upper hand again, and the case got tossed once more. But wait, it gets worse. Lily says even Rymir's own legal team might have been compromised. Allegedly, some lawyers were playing both sides, switching teams, messing up court filings, and making mistakes that looked way too convenient to be accidents. So now you've got a legal battle where one side is playing dirty, and the other side might be helping them do it. Rymir and Lily kept digging, and the deeper they went, the more shady stuff they uncovered. Sealed files, buried documents, missing records, all over a simple paternity test. At this point, it ain't even about child support or headlines. It's about why a man with nothing to hide would go this far to avoid a swab. If he's not the father, why not prove it and move on? Let's keep it 100. This ain't just about proving paternity anymore. It's about what that DNA test could really expose. Because if JayZ is the father, that means the world finds out he had a baby with a girl who was just 16 at the time. And depending on the state and the timing, that could fall under some serious legal heat. We're talking potential statutory territory. So now the question ain't just, is he the dad? It's, what's he really trying to hide? Even when Rymir tried to take it to the Supreme Court to get sealed records unsealed, the motion got blocked. Not because the claims were false, but because the court said it didn't have jurisdiction. Every single legal door slammed shut.
Wendy Williams explained how JayZ has a secret baby by Free from 106 in Park. Now, we know Wendy Williams always kept us rolling with the tea, and Wendy Williams was the first person to expose that JayZ had a secret baby by Free. She explained how she was told that JayZ and 50 Cent were in the delivery room when Free had her baby. And we know that there have been rumors for years that JayZ had a secret baby by Free, and how she was allegedly paid off to keep quiet, and that's why she disappeared from 106 in Park and we've never heard from her again. And honestly, these rumors of JayZ having these secret babies back then were huge. There was like 5 different women back then that were rumored to have children with JayZ. And yes, when all of this was going on, he was with Beyonce.
Then, everything changed. A federal judge finally stepped in and hit JayZ with a ruling. He had to respond to the paternity suit. And here's the twist everyone missed. Under New Jersey law, if JayZ doesn't respond, he's legally presumed to be the father. Game over. No more stalling, no more disappearing acts. JayZ was left with 2 choices: take the test, or be labeled the dad forever in the eyes of the law. But just as that pressure hit its peak, boom, things turned dangerous. After the court order dropped on July 18th, 2023, the vibes shifted fast. Just weeks later, in September, Rymir says he was shot at, right in his own driveway. He wasn't alone, the lot was packed, people everywhere, but somehow only his car got sprayed with bullets. That wasn't a warning, that was a message. Lily backed the whole story during their interview on the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast. She said it felt like straight-up retaliation for going public. This wasn't the first time they felt like they were being watched. Not even close. Lily says she and Rymir had been stalked, followed, and straight-up threatened for years just for trying to get justice. And the more pressure they put on JayZ to take that DNA test, the more aggressive things got. But here's where it jumps into a whole new level of messy. Lily says they believe Beyonce herself stepped in behind the scenes. Yeah, like she was calling the shots in the background trying to keep this thing buried. Allegedly, Beyonce didn't want Rymir silenced because she thought he was lying, but because she feared what the truth could do to their billion-dollar image. That perfect empire could crack in an instant if this case ever hit the spotlight. So she allegedly wanted the situation shut down before it exploded in the media. And get this, at one point, JayZ's camp allegedly floated the idea of signing Rymir to Roc Nation. Like, just bring him in and keep him close. But Lily says the moment Beyonce found out, that offer disappeared immediately. Poof, gone overnight.
I'm just really coming out here for the truth. I don't want no money or anything. I wasn't looking for none of that. I just want to know the truth. And if I can't go to the courts and get the truth, like, what is it really? Why are you? What is it? I just really want it over. It's something that's really affecting my life.
Then there's the musical shots. JayZ dropped what fans now call the Billie Jean diss, bars that were way too specific to be random. He rapped, "Heard about us?" Singing Billie Jean in his prime for the 1,000th time. The kid ain't mine. Online, they call me dad kiddingly. You're not supposed to take this dad thing literally. I'm cool on that. Chuck the 2 fingers every day. I'm getting sued. I show up to court without a suit. That wasn't just slick wordplay. That was a straight lyrical jab at Rymir, who had already spent over a decade begging for a simple DNA test. So how did Rymir respond? He clapped back with a track of his own. Fired up and fed up, he dropped lines like, Ninjas washed up, still doing tracks like 55, Where the F You At? Need to go back to your old days. Grown man in his old ways. But this wasn't just about throwing shade. Rhymier made it clear this was about taking back his voice. If JayZ could downplay him in $1 million studio session, then Rhymier had every right to fire back on his own beat. By now, Lily and Rhymier weren't just talking, they were documenting everything. Photos of the damage, license plates, names, dates, drive-by attempts. They took their story to Tasha K, sat down with the Sun, and aired it all out on Hip Hop Uncensored. Because if someone tried to silence them, at least the receipts would survive. At this stage, Rhymier wasn't just chasing DNA answers, he was going up against an entire legal system that looked like it was more interested in protecting JayZ's brand than delivering justice. And when you really dig into the details, it becomes painfully obvious this was never a level playing field. Over the years, 6 different judges touched this case. 6. And somehow, not one of them made JayZ take a paternity test. So in 2023, Rhymier and Lily flipped the script. This time, they didn't sue JayZ directly. They went after the system itself. They filed a lawsuit against the New Jersey court, accusing it of fraud, obstruction, and civil rights violations. Their claim? That some judges allegedly conspired to protect JayZ from the truth. And Rhymier laid it all out in a video. It gets even crazier. When Rhymier tried to have those early court records unsealed, the Supreme Court said no. Not because he was wrong, but because they claimed they didn't have the jurisdiction to even look at it. And here's where it gets wild. Under New Jersey law, if someone refuses to take a paternity test and there's enough supporting evidence, that person can be legally presumed the father. So technically, JayZ could have already been declared Rymier's dad by law. But the court, they just didn't enforce it. Instead, this case dragged out for 14 years. 14 years of legal fees, back and forth filings, emotional wreckage, all for one answer. One simple DNA test. And the deeper you look, the more obvious it becomes this wasn't just some messy paternity dispute, it was sabotaged. All of it. Allegedly to protect JayZ's legacy and keep the public from ever finding out what really happened.
They don't have to prove me wrong. I just want the truth. Honestly, I can take a no. I can take, if I'm embarrassed at the end of the day, I can take that. I really can. I've been through a lot. I've seen a lot. I could take me being embarrassed. Like, just can't take nobody not saying nothing.
Because let's be honest, if this ever hits trial, if JayZ ends up in court facing claims that he fathered a child with a girl who was underage at the time, in today's era, post-R. Kelly, this won't be a paternity headline anymore. It'll be a full-on PR explosion. After nearly 20 years of silence, sealed files, intimidation, fake addresses, and ghosted court dates, the pressure is now boiling over. JayZ has until July 18th to respond to the federal judge's order. If he doesn't, the law will treat him as Rymier's father. Period. But that's not the only secret people are whispering about. Because behind the scenes, there's another rumor heating up, and it might explain why JayZ's been fighting so hard to bury this case. Word on the street? Rhymier might not be the only one. Insiders have been saying for years that there's also a secret daughter, older than Rhymier, allegedly born from a different fling back in the early 90s. But unlike Rhymier, she never spoke out, because JayZ allegedly paid her to stay quiet. And here's where the smoke gets even thicker. According to one creator, Wendy Williams was one of the first to call JayZ out for allegedly having a secret child. That flips the whole narrative because it shows a pattern: deny the child publicly, but allegedly fund the silence behind closed doors. So if JayZ did quietly support a secret daughter, why is Rhymier the one getting hit with court blocks, ghosted motions, and years of silence? Why fight this kid so hard? The answer might come down to 2 major facts. Wanda was underage at the time, and Rhymier refused to stay quiet, and now it might be too late to sweep it under the rug. Rymier's said it over and over. He's not chasing a check. He doesn't want JayZ's money. He just wants the truth. But Lily? She's going all in. Her lawsuit isn't just about a DNA test anymore. She's demanding punitive damages, a full unsealing of all court records, an official jury trial, and a full-blown criminal investigation into alleged collusion within the court system. This case has officially leveled up. It's not a civil nuisance now. It's a potential legal bombshell that could open the floodgates. More lawsuits, more exposure, and possibly more secret children stepping forward. And if Beyoncé really did play a role behind the scenes to keep it all buried, that's not just family drama. That's a brand crisis, one that could shake everything from their image to their empire. Let's be real. The Carters are masters at dodging headlines. They've danced through scandals and flipped narratives for years. But this is the ghost they haven't been able to kill. Because now, it's not just whispers, it's court filings, sealed records, and a young man stuck in limbo, still fighting and ready to go the distance, no matter how long it takes. Now JayZ's backed into a corner with just 2 options left. Either take the DNA test, or let the court officially label him as Raimir's father forever. No more hiding behind legal walls, no more silence. But here's the real twist. If you thought Raimir was the only one, think again. Word is, there's a daughter out there too. And get this, JayZ's team allegedly bought her a whole house in Connecticut. She never filed a lawsuit, never did a press run, and never worked a regular job a day in her life. Why? Because some say she got paid to stay quiet. So now that you've seen the battle that played out in public, it's time to meet the one who stayed silent, for a price. Smash that like button, subscribe for the realest breakdowns, drop a comment with your thoughts, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Catch you in the next one. It's about to get even messier.